Hey guys, well today I got another Beth Avenue story for you. Now, when I was growing up, you had all kinds of guys in the neighborhood that were stealing, doing burglaries, and doing anything to make a buck. Whoever you had a scheme on, this is what the older guys I learned from. Now, back in the day, everyone was trying to make money. Any way you could make money, you made money. Now, all the stores on 86th Street was all broken into and all the safes were taken out. All the night deposit boxes were coming off the walls at this time. And a lot of stores were being burglarized. This particular time, me and little Georgie Adamo, we were young kids. Now, we were always trying to make a buck, whether we were selling weed, whether we were stealing cars, whether we were doing errands for the older guys. Whatever we did, we tried to make money. What happened was Anthony Spero had a Joker poker machine in the back of his social club. Now, when we were kids, we would stick a $20 bill in there and play Joker poker. And we realized that everyone who put money in there never won. And this machine was filled up with quarters and a stack of bills. What happens is, me and little Georgie Adamo, we decide we're going to steal the Joker poker machine. Now, on the side of my building, there was another building right next door from Anthony Spero's social club. And we used to go in that hallway and we would smoke weed. Me, John Polio, little Georgie, a few other friends that lived in the building. And in the hallway, there was a little door where you could go right into Anthony Spero's social club. Nobody knew about it. So at one time, little Georgie ends up leaving the door open. And we decide to rob the Joker poker machine. Now, when we took this Joker poker machine, we took all the money out of there, the cash, and all the quarters and the coins. After we robbed it, we made sure we went out of the neighborhood to sell the quarters because we couldn't get rid of the quarters in the neighborhood. There was like maybe $500 worth of quarters. And if we started getting rid of quarters in the neighborhood, we know eventually it will come back to us. So what we did was we took a ride down to Manhattan, and this kid, Scotty, that was friendly with little Georgie, owned a pizzeria. And he took us to all the spots in Manhattan to get rid of the quarters. If we would have got rid of the quarters on Beth Avenue or anywhere in the neighborhood, they would have found out it was us who robbed the Joker poker machine. So this is the early 80s, and everyone had a Joker poker machine in the club. Now, at this time, you had a guy by the name of Sally Temperino, Stephen Oikento, Kevin Oikento, Joey Temperino. These guys were doing burglaries at nighttime. They robbed all the stores on 86th Street. They would do burglaries on the avenue. Anything they could do and get away with, they would do. Now, they had a reputation for stealing. Now, we were a little younger. We didn't have that reputation yet. We actually did this on the down low, and we just wanted to make a couple of dollars. We know there was a couple $1,000s in that Joker poker machine. When we got to it, it was stacked with 20s. You take the cash out of the little compartment, and it had maybe $1,500, $2,000 cash, plus over $500 in quarters. It was a quick little score. Me and little Georgie made a quick $1,000 a piece. And the next day, when Anthony Spero came into the club, he was perturbed and very upset. He wanted to find out who had the balls to rob the social club. Right away, he pointed fingers to Sally Temperino, Joey Temperino, and these other brothers, the Oikentos from my neighborhood. Now, all these guys were good guys. They were wild, they were stand-up, they were tough, and they had a name for stealing. So Anthony Spero, right away, as soon as he saw them standing in front of Nick's candy store, he told them, he said, I want to find out who did this. And whoever did this, I want the money returned. Now, Sally Temporino is swearing up and down that, Anthony, I have nothing to do with this. I would never do this to you. And me and little Georgie, we're in the neighborhood just going with the stroll, making believe nothing never happened. We're watching and seeing what's going on. We're actually hanging out in the social club, in and out of it, and making believe that we don't know. We're trying to find out who did it. But meanwhile, it was me and little Georgie. And we end up both buying bicycles after we did that. So about 2 weeks later, we bought bicycles. But we were young, in our teens, when that happened. And Spero was disgusted. He wanted to find out who did it. And he was blaming the Temporinos and the Oikentos. Until this day, he never found out. I'm coming out with it now. Me and little Georgie Adamo are the one who burglarized Anthony Spero's social club. And that's how the neighborhood was. You hung around and you looked for a score, whether it was stealing a car, doing a burglary, and any way to make a couple of dollars. But if Anthony Spero would have found out when we were kids, forget about it. He would have gave us both a beating, and we would have been barred from the avenue. But we never released that secret. And I told one wise guy that story when I was a kid. And the wise guy I told, I'm not going to reveal his name, but he told me, he said, Jimmy, he said, that's good you trust me with this, but don't ever tell anyone that it was you and Georgie. He said, because you will get seriously hurt. And that's the information he told me. He was a wise guy with the Gambino family. And he told me never to tell anybody. And I'm never going to mention his name. And he didn't flip either, this guy. So I wanted to share that story with you. Me and little Georgie, Rob, and Anthony Spero Social Club. It was a crazy time back then. It was a good memory. Me and little Georgie went about it and made believe we didn't know anything. And we were trying to find out who the culprit was. And meanwhile, it was us. Well, if you like this story, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for all the kind words. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you Sunday live with me and you. Let's get together one-on-one and chop it up, have some fun, and see what the discussion we could talk about. Everyone, have a great Thursday. I'll see you soon. Until the next video. Bye.